Hey, welcome to Fort Dillon, back after a long absence, finally making a vid. Today we'll be talking about college football and NFL, recaps of the first 2 weeks, and how the replacement officials are doing in the NFL. Let's start with the replacement officials. Now the replacement officials, they haven't been the best as we see, but hey, what can you expect out of them? They're like Division 2, Division 3 refs who have not had any NFL experience. I mean, think about it, when you ref Division 2 or Division 3, you're not playing for much at stake. I mean, Division 2 or Division 3 schools are not well known, and you're not really playing for anything, as I said. So the refs face like little pressure as they do in the NFL, like the big time games where it really matters in front of like 70,000 screaming fans. I mean, they gave the Seahawks extra time on that game. Had the Seahawks won that game, that would have created a huge controversy, but they did. My assessment of replacement officials is that they're doing the best they can, but honestly, we really need the regular officials back. They've made some really questionable calls. They've missed lots of calls. Like in the Broncos-Falcons game, they like threw a flag and picked it and didn't even call it, and then picked it back up and didn't even say anything. But like, we just need the NFL officials back. I think with the NFL officials back, it'll help the players' safety better because NFL officials know what they're doing. I mean, every ref misses calls. Let's face it, we all know it. But the replacement officials, they make a lot of random, really questionable calls and then miss a lot of obvious calls. Just look at the Niner-Packer game. There was a lot of missed calls and a lot of missed calls that game, and a lot of really questionable calls that game. And I mean, some replacement officials like the Giants-Cowboys game, I thought did a really good job. But other than that, I haven't really seen the replacement officials do that good of a job. It's hard. It's hard to keep player safety when you have these replacement officials. You've got to get the regular officials back. Yeah, and then now on to college football. As we can see, some major upsets. University of Louisiana Monroe. Man, that school just upsetted Arkansas. I think the main reason for the upset was they played really good on offense. When you knock Tyler Wilson out, their star quarterback, like an potential NFL first-round pick, it really damaged Arkansas's offense. As we can see against Alabama, they could not put any points up with the other two quarterbacks. I mean, they just aren't as good as Tyler Wilson. Their option play didn't work, and the passing play didn't work. It was not a good day for Arkansas against Alabama and University of Louisiana Monroe. Now, USC got upset by Stanford in what was expected to be a BCS national championship season for USC. Now, being a USC fan, I'm pretty disappointed, but you gotta give Stanford credit. They pressured Matt Barkley all game, made him uncomfortable all game. He could not move the offense very well. That play where there was like an interception by USC, interception by Stanford, and another interception by USC, 3 plays in a row was pretty sick. You gotta give credit to Stanford's defense. They just made a lot of key plays, and Stanford's offense. They struggled at first, but they did not turn the ball over much, and Josh Nunes made the key plays later with Stephon Taylor as running the ball against the USC defense. But USC's now season is in jeopardy, but I don't think it's in jeopardy. They still got their talented receivers, Robert Woods and Marquise Lee, and a Heisman candidate in Matt Barkley. They also have a good defense with Nikhil Roby and TJ McDonald. They should still be fine. I mean, you still got a lot of games left in the season. A Rose Bowl is still pretty good. I think USC can still bounce back. And Stanford, the Pac-12 North, is very much in the open between Stanford and Oregon. I think those two teams will challenge for the Pac-12 North, while for the Pac-12 South, I look for UCLA to actually put up a good year. They've upset Nebraska. They've been playing really good recently. I think UCLA and USC are going to be battling out for the Pac-12 South title. As the season now, this is early in the season, but I think as it goes on, we'll know clearly who is the better teams in the college football. But right now, an LSU-Alabama rematch, right now they're both number 1 and number 2. Anyone consider that a possibility? I hope not, but I'm going to be really excited when they play again in Baton Rouge. It's going to be a good game. LSU has a punishing defense, and they haven't missed a beat with without Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. They have a lot of key players that can step up. Zach Mettenberger, they finally have a passer. They have a good running attack with Alfred Blue and Kenny Hillard. They have a very punishing defense who can force turnovers. And Odell Beckman's a pretty good punt returner too. As for Alabama, they have a nice running attack, a good quarterback in A.J. McCarron, and a very punishing defense that has just shut out 2 opponents in a row. Look for them to keep shutting them out. And Florida State is a team I think that has BCS championship potential. They destroyed Wake Forest 52-0. Now, the two FCS schools, I mean, you might not think it's much, but the Savannah State game, well, even though everybody knows how bad Savannah State is, but before they beat before the Savannah State game was called due to weather conditions, it was 55-0, and Savannah State gained like just 28 yards. Now for Murray State, oh my god, it was pretty bad. 69-3. Florida State is a punishing team with on offense and defense. They've only allowed 3 points all year so far. Now they haven't played in a lot of high level competition, but look for them to be tested against Clemson this weekend. But I think Florida State's got the potential, and Oregon's always going to be in it because explosive offense, scores quickly. Their defense will give up a lot of points, but they can always get it back with their offense. They have a very talented offense. They haven't missed a beat since Deron Thomas left. Mariota has been a really good quarterback, and the running back tandem of Barner and DeAnthony Thomas, they don't miss a beat. Oregon. I'll keep college football updates as the season goes along. Now to the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers have looked very good the first 2 weeks. Their defense stops the run. I mean, the Lions could not run the ball. Neither could the Packers. Their Cedric Benson gained just 18 yards against the Niners defense. Now, the Niners defense, they hold you to field goals against the Lions. That was key. When the Kendall Hunter turned it over, it was key that they held them to a field goal, so they still had the lead. They had not trailed all year. They score when in their offense. I think Alex Smith has developed into a pretty good quarterback. They score when he scores when he needs. He does not make many mistakes. The Niners, they don't make many mistakes, and they force turnovers when needed. Just look at the Packer game. After that punt return, Navarro Bowman had a key interception on Aaron Rodgers, where Frank Gore then scored to make it a 2-score game. That was a really key score, even though that game happened 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I think the 49ers are the favorites to go all the way to the Super Bowl for the NFC. Because they have a talented defense, they force turns, they don't make much mistakes on offense, and their offense is being pretty explosive. Alex Smith has developed into a pretty good quarterback right now. As for the other team in the California, the Oakland Raiders in the Bay Area, the Oakland Raiders haven't looked very good. It's been a new era since the death of Al Davis, but what I think of the Raiders is they didn't have any draft picks. I mean, their first pick was in the 5th round. Now, that's not very good. You can't build a team like that. They let a lot of players go, hired a new coach, which doesn't help because the coaching carousel is not going to help the Raiders. They really need to find a stable coach, a stable team, and I don't think Carson Palmer can get it done at quarterback. He struggled last year a bit, but he was new to the offense. This year, he is still struggling, and the Raiders cannot get the run game going. Darren McFadden has just 54 rushing yards in the first 2 games. He's had more receiving yards than running yards. They have to be able to run the ball to win the game. And their defense, they just got to be able to tackle, man. Reggie Bush shredded them. I mean, I thought their defense played well against San Diego when the Raiders' special teams could not get the snap off to save their life. But I thought that the Raiders' defense played very well the first game. I mean, held the charge to 5 field goals. Imagine if they were touchdowns. The score would have been much lower. They gave their team a chance. And the Raiders' offense, 14 and 13 points, is just not going to get it done. They just have to be able to move the ball. They have to be able to create takeaways. And they have to be able to get stops on defense if they want to win. Now, the other time, it's Peyton Manning's return to action. He looked pretty good against the Steelers. Against a tough Steelers defense compared to a Falcons defense. He made good plays, threw nice passes, kept the Steelers off balance. But against the Falcons, while the running game was going, he had 3 interceptions in the first quarter. Most of those throws, he forced them into coverage. The coverage was very good, and he forced those throws. Sure, he rebounded and had a nice game, but those 3 turnovers were the killer. And the Broncos, you can't win with 4 turnovers in the first quarter. They were just lucky to be down by 13. But I thought that the Falcons' defense was disguising their coverage. They made Manning force throws. I mean, he made some really poor decisions. But hey, pain's pain. He'll always bounce back. As the NFL season winds on, I'll keep you updated on who I think will be in the Super Bowl. But for the AFC, it's a tight battle right now. It's hard to say who will go in. My favorites look like the Steelers. The Broncos. I think Broncos will have a chance at the Super Bowl this year. And the Ravens and the Patriots. Those 4 are my top teams right now for the Super Bowl picks this year. As of right now. I mean, season's still young. Teams that have gotten lucky the first 2 weeks. The Philadelphia Eagles. Michael Vick threw 4 picks against the Browns, and he still creates the game-winning drive. They had 4 turnovers against the Ravens, still create the game-winning drive. The game, I mean, you can look at all those turnovers and how bad they do, but Michael Vick, what I think is more fun is he gets the job done in crunch time. He scores, he makes plays when needed. As you can see against the Ravens, the 1-yard run against the Eagles, not the Eagles, what am I saying? Against the Browns, he made that key throw to win the game. He gets the job done, though. I mean, the Eagles' defense has played spectacular despite all the offensive problems. Juan Castillo has done a good job in his second year. And now onto the Jets. A highly dramatized preseason, which their first team offense is not scoring touchdowns. They look very good against Buffalo, moving the ball well, but against the Steelers, got killed. Like, they couldn't move the ball at this third quarter to save their life. I mean, like, Mark Sanchez was getting blitzed and stuff, and the receivers couldn't catch. There's a lot of questionable calls that game by the refs, but Santonio Holmes, like, he dropped a lot of passes they should have caught. Tim Tebow, they gotta use Tim Tebow more, I think. They gotta, like, trick the coach. You can use him in punt formation to, like, force them not to bring so much punt pressure and, like, actually drop guys in coverage, because you don't know if it's a fake. That's a smart idea. But what I think they need to do to Tim Tebow is put him with Mark Sanchez in the game. Because so the defense does not know what's coming. A run, a pass, an option run or pass. I mean, if you put Tim Tebow on Mark Sanchez, that could be really good right there. Well, that's it for this segment of 4th and Line. See you next time.